In 2012, when we interviewed you the first time, you talked about how Hollywood is based on selling promises, or I think that's what we entitled the video.
That was a good title too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
almost
David
so
here.
that once you've read the headline, you don't have to watch the video anymore. It's all in there. Yeah.
You can thank David for that. Do you still feel this way?
Very much, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. And that those are two different jobs: the directing and doing a good job with the actual material, and selling in the room what you are intending to do with the material. That those are two completely different things, and that the promises, you just have to, if you don't have the confidence, which I'm not that person, I'm not the car salesman usually, you just have to pretend and just, talk about it as if this is how it's going to be and this is what you're going to achieve, and all your self-doubt, which again you will have. In interviews you always have the feeling that filmmakers are always clear on what they want to achieve and how they want to achieve it and with whom they want to achieve it. Everything was great, there's the product. That's not how it really works. I think there's a lot of self-doubt along the way that you kind of have to get through, but you really, I have the feeling, for me at least, I have to put that on pause for the 45 minutes that I'm walking into that meeting and just be, I'm trying to be as authentic and genuine with everybody as possible, In that room, I have to be someone else for that time, because they don't want the creative soul that is, blah, blah, blah. They want a manager. They want a business leader that will bring them the product that they're paying for. And that makes Hollywood very much based on promises, on pitches. There are a lot of different names for it, but in the end, it's just you promise a creative outcome that in the moment you really have no right of promising at all. And everybody plays along and pretends that that's not the case. So,
what do you say to filmmakers who get so excited and inadvertently push their project out before it's ready, and then it's not perfect? Of course, it'll never be perfect, but there's maybe they should have taken more time, 6 months, whatever. But they want to rush it. They want to say, I have another film finished, or I have my first film finished.
I don't know if I have anything to say to them, because it's a feeling that I've never had. I'm the opposite. Like I would sit on it forever if I could, until someone rips it out of my hand and goes like, good enough, and it still doesn't feel good enough, and I still feel like a fraud somehow with it now. So if they have that confidence that they've made something and they want it out the door and they don't have any second thoughts about it, I would almost say go for it. I know that the conventional wisdom from film festivals and all is this: don't submit it to us before it's finished. But I always wonder if that's a little bit of a self-serving thing, because film festivals get flooded with projects anyway. So it makes sense for them to say, don't send it to us before you're finished with it. But for you as the filmmaker, if you feel okay that this is close enough to the best version than it can be, and you are okay with people watching it, I would say go for it. Which is not the responsible advice to give, probably. But I don't know how much better it really. There's always this theory that, and now I'm getting the numbers wrong probably, that you have to put in 80%, 20% of the work to get something to 80% of its potential. And the last 20% is where you spend the last 80% of your work, which is very much my experience. And I have friends that are totally living in these 80%. They just have an idea, they have momentum, they do the 20% input, have 80%, everybody sees the potential, it's great, out the door, next project. Whereas I will spend the next 2 years trying to get the last two, that's the perfectionism thing, getting the last 20% right. And in the end, I would say my friends who have done 3 or 4 projects by the time that I've done one, they might have one complete gold nugget out of their 4 projects that might be better than mine. So it's just a different way of working. So if someone works like that, I would say go with it. Because how much better, and it's hard for you to judge while you're making it, but how much better is it realistically going to be if you invest another half a year? Is that something that only you, because you're so in it, feel, but that someone else who hasn't seen it and watches it for the first time, it would be an unnoticeable difference? Then I would say good for you for pushing it out the door sooner. I definitely think that exposing your baby to the world as soon as possible, if you can stomach it, will always benefit the project, rather than sitting on it too long and having things get too rigid and too hard to change. I've had that a couple of times, that I showed something where we were just about to lock the cut to a friend who had a comment where I was like, I wish I had heard that half a year ago. That is genius. That would have made the whole movie so much better, but now it's too late because we're about to lock. And it was totally my fault for showing that to people too late, because I was too precious about it. And I should have been more daring and more courageous and opening it up to animosity, to criticism earlier, because there was still time to react then.
Wow, so yeah, I guess you can hold on to something for too long then.
Definitely.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Forever. I mean, sure. There are people that are still writing their first screenplay 40 years later because it's not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, which I totally get. But obviously every film that has ever been made had a screenwriter push out his or her script before it was perfect. Otherwise that movie would not exist right now. So I think either way can be a problem. Yeah.